What if the heavy equipment you literally just bought actually secretly belongs to a bank? Just imagine it. You sign a massive commercial lease, you buy a business, or maybe you finance a fleet of trucks, only to find out some lender out there already holds a legal claim to your shiny new assets. You know, every single day, savvy entrepreneurs and investors sign these huge business agreements, completely blind to the fact that there's a public record out there that can absolutely wipe out their investment. So let's dive into this explainer and figure out how to uncover these hidden financial histories in New York State so you never get caught off guard.
This is the visceral, real-world financial risk we're tackling today. Think about it. If a business defaults on a loan, secured creditors have the absolute right to just swoop in and seize collateral to repay that debt. If you just bought that collateral or you're a new lender trying to use it to secure your own loan, well, you could be completely out of luck. And this is exactly why understanding the Uniform Commercial Code, or UCC filings, is absolutely essential. We're going to demystify this whole process right now so you can transact with absolute confidence. To keep us on track, here's a quick roadmap. We'll start with the hidden financial risks, decode how UCC financing statements actually work, and then walk through a step-by-step New York search guide. After that, we'll compare central versus local search systems, pinpoint some fatal search mistakes to avoid, and finish up with how to put all this smart due diligence into practice.
All right, Section 1, the hidden financial risks, and protecting your assets before you transact. Let's jump in and look at why so many people get blindsided by hidden claims and why one simple search can save you a massive financial headache.
When it comes to business underwriting and managing your risk, knowing who is first in line is literally everything. An outstanding lien is a massive risk indicator. It essentially means that if the business you're dealing with suddenly defaults on its existing debts, another lender has the priority right to seize those assets. You could lose your entire investment, or suddenly find that the collateral you thought secured your loan is already spoken for. Conducting a UCC search tells you exactly where you stand in that creditor line. Moving right along to Section 2, decoding UCC financing statements, or what I like to call understanding the public DIBS system. Because before we jump into the search portal itself, we really need to decode the jargon and understand exactly what it is we're looking for.
Simply put, a Uniform Commercial Code filing is basically a public DIBS system. It's a formal legal notice that perfects a lender's security interest. Whether it's a bank financing heavy construction equipment or maybe a vendor providing inventory on credit, filing this statement officially establishes their priority over other creditors. And the best part? Because it's a public record, anyone can and absolutely should look it up.
Now, notice the crucial distinction here when we're talking about business health. We really have to contrast standard consensual UCC liens against non-consensual tax or judgment liens. Standard UCC liens are purely consensual. Plenty of healthy, highly profitable businesses have UCC liens on their property. It just means they're smartly leveraging their assets for financing. But on the flip side, tax or judgment liens from the IRS or a court, those are non-consensual, and those are massive red flags signaling serious financial distress. When you look at the life cycle of a filing, it's pretty fascinating. You see, it's not just a one-and-done piece of paper, it's a living, breathing record. The UCC-1 is that initial filing that stakes the claim, and in New York, it generally lasts for 5 solid years. But, you know, businesses change, and that's exactly where UCC-3s come into play. These are used to amend the record, maybe continue it for another 5 years, assign it to a new lender, or terminate it altogether when the debt is finally paid off. When you run a search, you're actually reading this entire historical story. Okay, Section 3, Step-by-Step NY Search Guide, navigating the New York Department of State portal. This is the core of our explainer. How do we actually find these records in New York State?
While most searches start right at the New York State Department of State Division of Corporations, they manage the central registry for standard commercial assets, things like inventory, equipment, and accounts receivable. The state actually provides a really handy web-based public inquiry system. This allows you to search by individual name, business entity, or a specific filing number to run routine, non-certified searches right from the comfort of your computer.
But to run a flawless query, you've got to follow a strict process. Step 1 is honestly the most critical. You must verify the exact legal name of the entity using the state's corporate database. Step 2, access that online portal. Step 3, run variations of the name just to catch any pesky typos or historical changes. And finally, Step 4, carefully read the filing's entire history, from that very first UCC-1 right down to the latest UCC-3 amendment.
Next up, Section 4, Central versus Local Search Systems, mastering New York's dual-track system. Now, here is where it gets a bit tricky and where a lot of beginners make a huge, costly mistake.
While standard assets, like your everyday inventory or general equipment, are filed centrally with the state up in Albany, real estate-related collateral is a whole different ballgame. If the collateral is fixtures attached to a building, maybe timber or cooperative apartment interests, those are filed locally in the real property records of that specific county. So for example, in New York City, you'd actually have to search the ACRIS system using the property's borough, block, and lot number. A state-level search alone is going to totally miss these local liens.
When it comes to the varying fees you'll encounter, there's a pretty clear breakdown. Notice how searching centrally via the NYSDOS requires formal fees if you want certified searches under the seal of the Secretary of State, which, by the way, you definitely need for formal legal closings. Meanwhile, checking NYC's ACRIS system online, totally free for basic searches, though copies will cost you a few bucks. Always check the specific county rules if you're dealing with local perfections.
All right, Section 5, Avoiding Fatal Search Mistakes, Navigating the Nuances and Minefields. Let's look at how incredibly easy it is to make a simple mistake that completely blindsides your business, mostly because the search logic used by the state is just so unforgiving.
Because the search algorithm is highly sensitive to spelling variations, something as seemingly minor as missing a middle initial for an individual or maybe leaving off the LLC suffix for a business can render your entire search dangerously incomplete. Never, ever search using just a doing business as trade name. Oh, and be really careful with terminations too. Just because a UCC3 termination was filed doesn't mean you shouldn't verify the underlying debt is truly satisfied before you go clearing that collateral.
Now here's a critical bureaucratic quirk to watch out for regarding official copies. The New York State Department of State allows you to use a credit card to pay for a $25 search fee or a filing fee. But, incredibly, they strictly prohibit using a credit card to buy plain or certified document copies.
So the really crucial point here is this. If you submit a formal request, known as a Form UCC 11, to get both a certified search and document copies, you cannot use just one payment method. If you put a credit card number on a form requesting copies, your request will be immediately rejected, no questions asked. You absolutely must submit separate forms with a check or money order specifically made out to the Department of State for those copies. Trust me, knowing this little detail saves days of frustrating delays.
Finally, Section 6, Smart Due Diligence in Practice, Putting Your Knowledge to Work. Let's see how experienced legal researchers actually apply these step-by-step techniques out in the real world.
As experienced researchers will tell you, UCC searches are ultimately about establishing exactly who is first in line. The exact date and time a UCC1 is filed completely dictates who gets paid and who takes the loss in a default scenario. And that is exactly why savvy investors don't just run one quick online search and call it a day. They cross-reference corporate registries, they check both central and local databases, and they verify every single amendment to ensure the path is 100% clear.
Now, keep in mind that because state systems, county procedures, search interfaces, and statutory fees are constantly evolving, you should always consult a qualified legal or financial professional for advice specific to your actual business transactions. This explainer is an awesome roadmap, but professional guidance, that is your insurance.
By understanding how to properly search New York UCC filings, you take complete control of your financial risk. You now know exactly how to look behind the curtain of any commercial transaction. So the next time you prepare to sign a major contract, extend a line of credit, or buy a business, what hidden public records will you check first?